Hey guys, it's Keegan. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I thought we would do a little Q&A all about college and sororities. I asked you guys on my Instagram, go follow me. I asked you guys on my Instagram to ask me questions that you guys had about college and sororities. I always get a ton of DMs asking me questions, so I thought I would do a video. And when you guys were asking questions, I really realized there's a lot of questions that when you're in college, when you're in a sorority, they're very obvious, but before you're in it, no one talks about it. I feel like people kind of like brush over the topics and they don't really like bring them up. Like, you know, people don't really like dive deep into them. I thought that's exactly what I would do today, so I thought I would just kind of talk questions that you guys had, questions that no one really answers, bring them together in a video. College, sororities. Side note, subscribe if you guys like these videos. I have a ton of more college and sorority videos coming up this summer. I've already done a ton, so if you guys want to watch those, I'll actually have a playlist down below. I'll make a playlist for you guys if you can watch it. I'm an Alpha Chi Omega at Arizona State. This is like not a promotional video. Illuminating, which is like the overseeing of like each individual sorority at my school, doesn't allow promotional videos from like sororities or their members during recruitment season, and so this is not me promoting my sorority. This is just me informing you about sororities in general from my experience. So like, I don't know, but yeah, I have a ton of college and sorority videos. If you guys want to see those, I'll link them. If you guys are excited for other ones, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. That's the end of my shameless self promo for right now. Let's get on into the questions. Okay, so the first question is, what is the time commitment and requirements to stay active in a sorority? So I actually was thinking about doing a video where I kind of talk about what it's like to be in a sorority at a month glance, like all the things that you do, all things that go into it, because I feel like when I joined a sorority, it was so much different than what I thought it was going to be. Like, it's actually quite different, and I like it. I mean, it's fine. It is a big time commitment, so let me know if you guys want that video, like what kind of time commitment and what it's actually like. I would say there's probably anywhere from like, I would say there's like 3 events a week that are like mandatory or non-mandatory. You know, there's things like every Monday we have our chapter, which is like where we have like a little meeting, go over everything that's going on this week, like our philo event, or we have like a sisterhood, or we have this, or we have that. So like there is a lot that goes into it. I'm not gonna lie, like it is quite time consuming. One thing that I found that has made it really easy to keep up with it is planning out my calendar and just being really organized and having a good sense of time management. That has really helped. It's not that bad. It's not one of those things where it's like, do I get good grades or do I be in a sorority? Because you can definitely do both. At first it's a little bit harder to like manage everything, but then after a while you're just like, whatever, it's like you get used to it. This one's actually a personal question about me. Are you going to be living in an apartment next year? So I actually lived in my sorority house last year. This year I'm going to be a junior, so my sophomore year I lived in my sorority house. I have a ton of questions that people ask me about living in, so I'll answer that in a minute. But I am living in an apartment. I'm not living in my sorority house. I'm living with 4 other girls. So there's 5 girls in one apartment, 3 bathrooms. Yeah, hopefully it's fun. Hopefully we have some good college week of my life vlog, some good content there. It should be fun. I'm really excited to like finally live like in an apartment and have my own room. I lived in a dorm and then my sorority house, so I like really never didn't share a room with someone, so it's gonna be fun. Someone said I want to join a sorority, but I'm scared of hazing. Do people really do it? I have never been hazed. I can only really speak from my personal experience, like my sorority at my school, because I've never been in another sorority at another school, obviously. From my personal experience, I have not been hazed. I'm pretty sure that none of the sororities on my campus do. I wouldn't be a part of a sorority. I wouldn't be a part of anything that supports that. I've never been hazed. I asked them if they would haze me because I was kind of curious to see if they would, and they didn't. I wouldn't be a part of a sorority that hazed, if I'm just being completely honest here. I think it's absolutely disgusting. Do you feel like your college is handling the situation well? By the situation, I'm assuming they mean Corona. I feel like ASU kind of sucks at doing things. They are very much like, we're not doing this, we're not gonna do this, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do this, but we're gonna call it something else. Like, we're not gonna tell anyone that we're doing it. So for example, a lot of colleges did pass fail, and for the longest time my college was like, we're not doing that, nope. And then they're like, okay, so we're gonna do this thing called a Y grade, and it's basically pass fail, but we're not gonna tell anyone that's pass fail because we don't want them to think that we've caved. Like, it is pass fail, it's like you're welcome, but like it's called a Y grade. I just feel like they're not as like quickly as like adaptive as some colleges are. They eventually get there, but it just takes a lot longer. So I mean, it could be so much worse. Okay, so I have these 2 questions that are very similar about sororities, and I really wanted to address this or like talk about this because I get this question in my DM all the time. So the first question is, I've always been overweight because of a thyroid condition. Are sororities inclusive? And then another one said, is getting into a sorority harder for people of color? So I feel like sororities definitely have this image of what they look like. Honestly, it's like what I look like white skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, you know? Like, I feel like when you think of a sorority, you think of the same girl over and over and over. But I feel like for me, I'm just talking about my behalf, like last year I was a sophomore and I recruited for my sorority. I didn't even look at the person, like if I'm just being honest. Like, I didn't care what they look like. I don't don't care if like what color you are, how big you are, how small you are. Like that didn't matter to me. For me as a recruiter, I really cared about connection and relationships, conversations, and I feel like I would never be a part of a group of girls that like judge people based off the way they look. I think that is disgusting. I really don't think a lot of sororities are like that. I think that because there's this stereotypical image, a lot of people that, you know, aren't a size 00, like aren't white and blonde, kind of feel like I'm not gonna fit in, so why should I rush if I'm just gonna be joining a group of girls that don't look like me, that don't resemble me, they're not gonna want me. No matter what you look like you would fit in so well somewhere. I think that a lot of people don't rush because they're scared of that stereotype. Last year when I was recruiting, like I would say like 80% of the girls looked like me, that were like white and blonde. Like I get so many DMs of people being like, I want to rush but I'm not sure if I should because I don't think I'll get a bid because I'm like African American. I think that is so sad, and like I can really understand my privilege of like going into a situation like that and not really having to worry about my skin tone because I'm white and I have privilege like that. Sororities want that diversity. Like when people talk about like, oh, what do you want to change about your sorority, it's always like we want to add more diversity. Like I feel like a lot of sororities say that. If you get into a sorority, it's because of who you are as a person and not what you look like. Again, I can't speak for everyone, but for me as a person, I would never be a part of a sorority that only cares about stuff like that. Someone says, what does a major in college mean? So your major is what you're focusing on studying. So I'm a marketing major, so I study marketing. I'm in the business marketing program. The first like 2 years of college are like a lot of prereqs. So like I'm taking like a business law class, a business analytics class, lots of accounting. I'm taking lots of economics as like a business, like well-rounded business person. And then the last 2 years of my college degree, I really focus in on marketing. If you're a psychology major, you take a lot of your class about psychology and that's what you learn the most of. Someone said, I was wondering if you were required to live in the sorority house. I get DMs about this all the time. I get questions about this all the time. This is how it works for my house at my school. Everyone can be different, but this is just how it works for us. And I feel like a lot of people that I've heard that go to like different schools or like are in different sororities have very similar processes. My house can fit about like 40 people. In my pledge class meeting, there was 95 and there's about 250 girls all together in my sorority. So only 40 can live in, and you're like, not everyone can live in, obviously. So normally how it goes is you can only live in when you're an active member. When you're a new member, you can't live in. Typically your sophomore year, some people live in, kind of like a first come first serve thing. If you want to live in, you have to be like, I want to live in first. If they don't have enough girls that like offer to live in, they'll lottery girls. Pretty much every sorority that I know of does lottery. It doesn't normally happen because the house that we live in right now is really nice. You typically only live in your sophomore year if you want to, and then you kind of live somewhere else the rest of your years. A lot of people ask like, is it a requirement? Do you have to live in? It is like a membership requirement. If you are lotteried, it is like you're required to live in, but if you're not lotteried and you don't want to, then you don't have to. Super chill. A lot of people are like, why are you living in it for 4 years? Really, you only do it your sophomore year, and plus like when you're a junior and a senior, you're older. Like you don't want to share a bedroom with someone for that long. It's like a really fun experience, but it's kind of one of those things that I would only do once. Like I wouldn't do it twice. Someone said, are you able to have guys over while living in your sorority house? So how my sorority worked was you can have guests over like any time of the day, but they had to be approved to sleep over. If they weren't approved to leave over, they had to leave by like 2 a.m. and they could come back at like 7 or 8 a.m. something like that. My sorority was like really chill about having guys because it's college, it's life. Just as long as they're not sleeping over making everyone else uncomfortable, then like they're fine. But again, everyone is super different. Is being in a sorority as dramatic as people make it out to be? I feel like no. I feel like there is drama. Like let's just be real here. There's a group of 250 girls. There's no way that there's not going to be drama. And if you go through recruitment and someone's like, yeah, there's like no drama here, like that's a lie. Like sorry, there's no way with that many girls. Like you're obviously gonna have clashing personalities with some people, but for the most part, like you get along with most people. You chose this house because you're so similar to these people that for the most part there's really not that much drama. But when there is, it's like family. Like you fight with your sister and then you make up like 10 seconds later. It's kind of like one of those things. So there is drama, but it's not dramatic. Like for the most time it's like, hey man, what's up, you know? What are some of the biggest problems you had living in the sorority house? I did have people steal my food, which was so annoying. And pretty much every house I feel like has had these problems. I'll be talking about something and someone that lives in another sorority house will be like, yeah, I have that too. I think that another complaint I guess would just be like maybe noise, but I think it's like one of those things that it's like there's so many good things about it. You get close to people and you meet more people. It's a really fun experience. So all the bad experiences you're kind of like, okay, whatever, we just deal with it. We roll with the punches. What's your major? Do you like it? Career goals. So I can do a whole video really going in detail about like what I want to do. I've seen people do this and I really like those videos. Let me know if you guys want to like learn more about me. But I'm a marketing major. I'm a digital and integrated communication marketing major, so it's like basically marketing with like an emphasis on like social media, digital aspects. I've talked about this before. I have like if YouTube works out and like if YouTube doesn't work out kind of plans. If YouTube doesn't work out and I have to use my degree, I would like to do social media marketing for like a makeup company, like Benefit Cosmetics or something like that. I keep saying this, but I can do a video about like what I really want to do in life. Someone said I'm really interested in ASU. How's the social life? I think that a social life is a really big part of going to ASU. I feel like that it's a party school. Okay, like turning less into a party school, I feel like, than it like used to be like 10 years ago. It's still a party school. It's very social. So someone said, is Manzi the best hall? So if you're going to ASU, this is my opinions on the dorm. So each dorm is split up by like your major. So there's like the business school, there's like the liberal arts, there's this, there's like the engineering. I lived in Hacienda, we call it Hossi. I lived in building A, floor 7. I'll give you a little rundown of all of them. Hossi has like the best dorms. Like if you guys saw my dorm tour, my dorm is freaking huge, but the amenities are horrible. The bathrooms are horrible, but the dorms are big. Manzi is an old building that they remodeled. The amenities are amazing. They have this basement that's like really cool. The bathrooms are nice. The dorms are like lofted beds. Like I personally don't really like the dorms. I think they're quite small, but the amenities are amazing. Tucker is the engineering dorm. Freaking amazing. They have so many amenities. The bathrooms are insane. It's like a master bathroom, but the rooms, they're shaped like an L kind of. Like it's really weird. There's not a ton of space. The rooms are very separated. It's like one like room, you know. Tucker, I would say it's the newest. It's like the best amenities and like the best like finishes, but like the room, it's kind of crowded. And then I've never been into Vest Hall, Vest, something like that. I've never been to that one, but I heard there's communal bathrooms and I've heard that one is horrible. That's what I've heard about that. Adelphi, I've been in it one time. Adelphi used to be like the old sorority dorms, but then we got the Greek Leadership Village. Adelphi is kind of like the overflow students. ASU does the same. It's so stupid. If you guys are picking a dorm, pick it soon because you might have to live in a hotel for a while until people start dropping out, because ASU does that to people. So what they do is they overflow all their student housing and wait for kids to drop out, so then they move the kids from the hotels into those dorms. So you get a random roommate, you live in a hotel for the first couple months of college. If you're gonna plan to live in a dorm, do it now. But Adelphi is kind of like that overflow. Bigger than Hossi, apparently, the rooms, but they're like really outdated. There's like stray cats, there's roaches. Like I heard a ceiling fan fell from the ceiling. Like I heard that a homeless man was living in one of them over the summer. That's kind of my rundown of all the dorms on the Tempe campus. I think that's all of them. Either way, a dorm's a dorm and it's not going to be amazing. So what are some of the negatives about joining a sorority? It is really time consuming. I feel like when you join a sorority, you're kind of like labeled. And so whenever you tell someone, you're like, oh, I'm an Alpha Chi, they think of like the only Alpha Chis they know, and then they assume that you're just like them. I also think though that like when you're not in a sorority, you're labeled as a GED. That's what they call it at my school. It stands for Goddamn Independent. Like you're labeled as something whether you go through rush or not. I think that's quite frustrating. I feel like we don't need labels. You go through rush, you're labeled. You don't go through rush, you're labeled. I guess that's a negative, is always being labeled something. Someone said, where did you find ideas for your dorm decor? Because it be on point. Thank you. Appreciate you. I have 2 dorm tours if you guys want to watch them. I really did a lot of DIY stuff. I would find stuff that I liked online and then I would just make it myself. My freshman year dorm, I think, is freaking adorable, if I'm being honest. I saw a photo from Pottery Barn Teen of these picture frames with flowers on the wall. I thought it was so cute and I didn't want to pay that much for it. I spray painted some picture frames that I got from IKEA and made tissue paper flowers that I found on like a DIY on YouTube. Hung them to my wall. It looked really cute. I feel like if I wasn't doing YouTube though, my dorms would not be like as put together and as cute as they are. It meant more to me that like I had to have a cute background for my video. If I didn't do this as a job, I'd probably just have like a simple dorm. I freaking love my freshman year dorm. I know it's different for every school, but what meal plan would you recommend? I heard that there are some schools that do like sorority meal plans. My sorority doesn't have a chef. None of the houses at my school do, I believe. There was like the Hacienda dining hall, which at first was really good, and then after a while I was like, I can't eat it. I did 8 meals a week, which I know does not sound like a lot, but when you're exhausted and tired of the dining hall, you find other things to eat. So I would really recommend starting with the lowest meal plan, and then if you need more, go up. I know a lot of people that got like 21 meals a week, unlimited meals a week. No one ever used it and it was a waste of money because the dining hall is not that good. When you're eating the same food over and over and over, it's just not that good. How do you stay motivated while in college? My best tip for this is to wake up super early. Well, I woke up at like noon. When you wake up in the morning, like you get up, you get ready, and then you start doing stuff. Like don't wait around, do stuff, push things off. off till like 3 p.m. nighttime. Like just really like when you wake up in the morning, like set out a time where you just like start getting stuff done. I also recommend getting stuff done in between classes. So like I would have like a 12 p.m. class that ends at like 1:15, and then I would have my next class start at 3, so I have like that hour plus span of time that I can do stuff. So I would go to the library, I'd go back to my dorm and just work on stuff in between that time span. That really helped me and helped me stay motivated and get all my stuff done. Someone said, is ASU as much as a party school as everyone said? I've heard that our parties are not like as good as University of Arizona because they apparently have like the row. We don't have Greek row, we don't have party houses. What we have is frat boys who rent out houses that live in them and then throw parties there. And it's humid, it's hot, it's not, they're not these giant mansions, they're like these little like 1-story houses in the middle of Tempe. They have to like Uber to and from. There's always an opportunity if you want to go to a party. I would say there's a party going on like every day besides Sunday and Monday, and then other than that, like there's at least one going on. If you want to go to parties, there's always an option, but if you don't, like not every single person in the whole world goes to those parties. So that is the end of this video. My camera battery is flashing. I hope that you guys liked it. If you did, subscribe for more sorority and college videos. I actually like skipped a ton of sorority questions because I will be doing a Q&A for you guys later. Follow me on Instagram if you want. I really love keeping up with you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me. I'd love to answer them. Yeah, that's it. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!